Welcome back to Inspire and Thrive, the podcast where we explore ideas that shape our lives and futures. I'm your host, Emily, and today we're diving into a topic that touches everyone: lifelong learning. What does it mean to keep learning throughout life? What skills are becoming essential for the future? And how can we prepare ourselves for an ever-changing world? To help us navigate this, I'm joined by Lisa Harper, an educator, speaker, and advocate for lifelong learning. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Emily. I'm excited to be here and talk about a topic so close to my heart. Lifelong learning isn't just a philosophy, it's a necessity now.
Absolutely. Let's start with the basics. What does lifelong learning mean to you, Lisa?
For me, lifelong learning is about staying curious and adaptable. It's the practice of continuously developing new skills, gaining knowledge, and growing as a person, whether it's professionally or personally. It's not limited to formal education. It includes everything from learning a new hobby to embracing emerging technologies.
That's a great point. I think many people still associate learning with school or university, but it's much broader, isn't it?
Exactly. School lays the foundation, but the world is changing so fast that the skills we learn there can quickly become outdated. For example, think about technology. 10 years ago, most people didn't need to know much about AI or coding. Now, these are critical skills in many industries.
That's so true. Speaking of critical skills, let's dive into the skills you believe people need to focus on for the future. What's at the top of your list?
At the top of my list is adaptability. The ability to pivot, learn new things, and remain resilient in the face of change is invaluable. We're living in what's often called a VUCA world: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Adaptability is what helps us thrive in that kind of environment.
I love that. It reminds me of Darwin's quote: "It's not the strongest or the most intelligent who survive, but those most adaptable to change."
Exactly. And adaptability ties into other skills, like problem solving and critical thinking. These are skills that AI can't easily replicate, which means they'll remain in demand as automation takes over more routine tasks.
That's a great segue into technology. What role do you think digital literacy plays in lifelong learning?
Oh, it's huge. Digital literacy is the foundation for so many opportunities. Whether it's understanding data, navigating online platforms, or even something as simple as protecting your online privacy, these are essential skills.
And it's not just about tech-related jobs, right? These skills are relevant across industries.
Absolutely. Even fields like healthcare, education, or the arts are becoming increasingly tech-driven. For instance, teachers are now using virtual classrooms, and artists are exploring digital mediums like NFTs. If you're not digitally literate, you risk being left behind.
Let's pivot a bit. How about soft skills? Are they just as important?
They are. In fact, I'd argue that soft skills, like communication, empathy, and collaboration, are becoming even more critical. With so much automation, human-centric skills are what set us apart. For example, while AI can analyze data, it can't replace the empathy needed to lead a team or connect with customers.
That's such an important reminder. We sometimes underestimate soft skills, but they're essential for building relationships and succeeding in the workplace.
Definitely. And here's the thing: soft skills are often developed outside formal education. Volunteering, mentoring, or even working on a passion project can help you build these skills.
That's a great tip. Let's talk about challenges. What do you think holds people back from embracing lifelong learning?
There are a few barriers. Time is a big one. Many people feel too busy to learn something new. Then there's fear, especially the fear of failure. It's hard to put yourself in a position where you don't know everything. And finally, there's the mindset barrier. Some people believe that once they've reached a certain age or career level, they don't need to learn anymore.
I can relate to the fear of failure. It's daunting to start something new, especially as an adult. How do you recommend overcoming that?
Start small and give yourself permission to fail. It's okay not to be perfect. Also, focus on the process, not just the outcome. Enjoying the act of learning itself can take the pressure off.
Great advice. I've heard people say that learning gets harder as you age. Is there any truth to that?
Not really. While the brain does change as we age, it's still incredibly adaptable. It's called neuroplasticity, our brain's ability to form new connections. The key is to keep challenging yourself and staying curious.
That's so encouraging. Before we wrap up, Lisa, what's one practical tip you'd give to someone who wants to embrace lifelong learning?
Find what excites you. Whether it's taking an online course, joining a book club, or learning a language, make it something you're genuinely interested in. That way, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like an adventure.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lisa. This has been such an enlightening conversation.
Thank you, Emily. It's been a pleasure. I hope this inspires your listeners to embrace lifelong learning.
I'm sure it will. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, the world is always changing, and the best way to stay ahead is to keep learning. Until next time, stay curious and keep growing. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode if you found it helpful. See you next week.